I have a bunch of broken or malfunctioning sprinkler heads, so while replacing a dozen of them, I decided to make concrete donuts to protect the sprinkler heads. I have nearly 30 underground sprinklers, and if I were to purchase 30 of these concrete donuts, it would cost me more than $1,000. So let me show you how I spent less than $20 to make more than 30 concrete donuts. Lowe's had several different types of pre-mixed concrete, and I bought this cheapest one, which was about $4 for a 60-pound bag, and it already had ideal mixture of concrete, sand, and small pebble rocks, and all I had to do was just add water. So two bags cost me about $8, and it was enough to make about 36 to 40 donuts. You'll also need this Orbit Underground 26062 Sprinkler Guard Donut to be used as the concrete mold. I paid about $6 for two from Amazon, but they actually gave me three. And since I already had one old one laying around the house, I ended up with four total to work with. Later in the video, I'll give you more details on how many molds you may need. You'll also need a large cup and a dishpan so that you can work with just the right amount of concrete mix for the number of donut molds you have. You'll also need plastic bags to cover over the donut mold so that cement doesn't stick to the plastic mold and you can reuse the molds. Also, try to find some round spray can top covers so that you can use that as a center hole for the donuts. Also, you'll need a cup of water to add to the concrete mix and either small or medium sized putty knives so that you can mix concrete and to be able to make the donuts. In the beginning, I only had this one guard, so I could only make one donut a day, and I wasn't even sure this was going to work. And since it takes about 2 days for the concrete donut to cure sufficiently to put it to use, this was way too slow and cumbersome as each time I had to set up things and clean up afterwards. So I ended up buying two more to speed the process, but Amazon actually gave me three instead. So having a total of four molds really helped to speed the process. Since these plastic guards are pretty cheap, like $3 each, if you need to make several dozen donuts like me, I suggest you getting maybe 5 to 10 so that you can finish this work quickly. Even with 10 guards, it's only $30, which is cheaper than just buying one of those pre-made concrete donuts. I'm using this storage bag. There's a size there, 3.78 liter storage bag. It's just your thin plastic bag. Before I used it like this, but I find it creates too much air gap within the bag itself. And I think it works better if I actually make this into a single sheet. So I just cut it, split it in half. Okay, like that. That way, there's a lesser chance of creating air gap. This is one of those where you put over the sprinkler head. I don't know if it's sturdy enough when my wife drives over with the car. This is the PVC pipe, piece of pipe, and it fits right in there. So I'm putting the sheet here so the concrete doesn't stick onto this. And if I do this, the concrete comes out very easily. By the way, I tried putting oil around the plastic mold in hopes of not having to use the plastic sheet. But when I did that, the oil got absorbed into the concrete mix, and as you can see, they broke apart easily. You're gonna have to play with the mixture, but think of it as roughly you want about 1 to 5 ratio in terms of the cement mix and the water. Water being about 20%. Don't put too much at one time, because if it's too thin, then you'll have to add more cement mix. So I just start out small, get them all wet. You don't want them really watery, but you don't want it too thick either. Because if you get them too thick, then it could potentially leave gaps inside. In the beginning, I didn't pack down the cement mixture, so it created air gaps, which means the mold is probably not too strong. So be sure to pack down the cement, especially around the corners. And also, it's important that plastic bag stays on the outer edge and not get embedded between the cement as much as possible. As I did this repeatedly, I found that if you make the mixture just a little bit more watery, then it fills the gaps more tightly and you'll end up with more solid concrete structure. Oh, and be sure the center hole area is mostly clear of concrete mix. At the end, whenever I had some mixture left over, I added a little bit more water and used it to fill the cracks in my driveway. Finally, when you're all done, wash the pan and putty knives right away so that you can reuse them next time. All right, it's been about 6, 7 hours. This just comes out. Okay, so it comes out pretty good intact because of this plastic bag. And this plastic bag will come out quite easy. This bottom part is not dried yet. I feel slight moisture. This side is dry, so I'm gonna go dry this part. And this right here, the middle part, it's just a liquid that came out, and that breaks off easily like that. So all right, so I'm gonna dry it. Normally I dry this for about 2 days before I actually use it. Using spray can top allowed me to make bigger center hole with thicker height. Also, you can see that using plastic sheet really kept the cement from bonding to the plastic walls. For the center hole, I had to give it a couple of taps to get the spray can top to pop out. By the way, I was able to reuse most of the plastic sheet except for the few that partially wedged inside of concrete and I had to tear it. Okay, this was the first few attempts that I did, uh, and this is a small hole. I made it with this PVC pipe connector, and you can see the size difference. This is from a spray can cover. Okay, so reason I used the small one is because initially when I was replacing some of the broken sprinkler heads, the older one was kind of small, so this was just big enough. Okay, that's why I started with this. But since I only had one mold, I was only making one a day and drying it over 2 days. And this worked okay, but once I had to replace it, the replacement ones were, they came in actually, it's bigger than, this is old one, but it was actually bigger than this, so it would not fit here, okay? So this is why I had to go with the paint can to make this center hole, okay? And also because it's taller, it allowed me to raise the mold further so you can see, okay? This is much thicker than this one, so that it should be more stronger. So as you can see, I went through, replaced, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I threw away a couple other broken ones. So I think I did, I don't know, about 13, 14, 15. I still have more left. There's a couple of them. It's, I'm not quite sure if it's fully working or not in terms of it's the one that goes back and forth spinning. I'm monitoring, but I may end up replacing both of those. Also, some of the sprinkler heads over time, they went too low. So when the sprinkler head pops out like this, it wasn't coming high enough, and it was just all the water was getting caught by the grass. So On a couple of them, I ended up putting this riser underneath. Okay, so when I took it out, basically I put this in there to raise it by, maybe about an inch and a half or so. This part doesn't count. It's about an inch and a half. So I did that on a couple of places. Um, this is a cap. So there's one sprinkler head that I don't need it to come out anymore because I put the tiles and I put garbage cans there. I don't have grass there anymore, so I'm gonna actually cap it off. So this cap's gonna be used to cap off that one sprinkler head. Installation is quite simple. Just dig some dirt away around the sprinkler head where a concrete donut will be placed. And be sure that top of the donut is about ½ inch to 1 inch above the top of the sprinkler head so that when you run over it with lawnmower or car, the sprinkler head is protected. Now, here comes the real test. I simulated my wife driving over the sprinkler head a couple of times, and the cement donut and sprinkler head held up just fine. Ha ha ha. Here it is again in a slow motion. Also, I had a lot of cement that was left over. So this is my main sewer clean out. And before it was all covered over with grass. And I had to actually hire a plumber to find this. So to prevent the grass growing around it, I used that leftover cement to put about 1.5 to 2 inch thick a border here so grass doesn't go over it easily. In addition, look at all these grass that died from summer record heat here. And I had one interesting area here where two different sprinkler in two different zones, they put it like right next to each other. So I cannot use the same mold that I made. So I had to customize this. So there was another area where I used the leftover cement. Thanks for watching, and if this video was helpful, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with more money saving DIY videos.